What's it actually like to go on tour with a jazz quartet in the Arctic regions of Norway?
It says everything about the friendship in this band.
Vast nature, snow, tall mountains, and the northern lights. And musical gear that doesn't make it onto the flight. I had my camera with me every moment of this jazz tour, so I could give you a unique insight into what it's like to go on tour with a Tonic For The Troops. This is Ellen. She is the bass player and the leader of the band.
All in one.
It's your bass and a bunch of skis. Welcome to Norway.
She has written all of the tunes we play, and she organizes the tours. She's also a big fan of trains.
Her så de bare gamle bøker om tog og fly og trikker og sånn.
Our piano player Espen has already picked up the rental cars.
Where's the kiss?
Because he flew in from Trondheim, where he's a teacher at the famous jazz conservatory. He's released numerous albums, the latest one a solo piano concert from Kempen, Germany.
Just buy it.
He's a Steinway artist, and just like Ellen, he has perfect pitch. And finally, our drummer Magnus. He's such a dedicated musician. I remember once we were talking about sports, and he told me he liked to watch tennis. Not for the sport itself, but for the rhythm of the tennis ball. We don't only share first names and hair color. We were actually born on exactly the same day. Now we just have to drive for a few hours before the first concert tomorrow.
Living the life. Living the dream.
Okay, so I had actually gone to bed, but I looked out the window, and there are, although very faint, some northern lights. It's kind of just like this little green cloud up there. Some stars as well. Wow.
Yeah, smile in the whole tone scale. They're training all day.
We picked up all the audio gear yesterday. We're actually kicking things off with some high school concerts. This is part of a government program called the Cultural School Bag. The rig is a fairly light and easy setup, so we handle everything ourselves, including sound and lighting.
The gig today at the school, it went fine. There were a couple of teachers there that were really excited that we came. A couple of the students as well seemed like they enjoyed the concert. One of them came up to us afterwards and said that he would close his eyes and think about his childhood as we played. And I mean, that's as good as it gets for someone who doesn't listen to jazz at all to come to a show. Like a teenager who doesn't listen to jazz to come to a jazz show and just have that experience.
The great thing about doing a cultural school bag tour is that it pays really well. Travel expenses and accommodation is all covered, and we only play for 40 minutes each morning before we drive a few hours to the next location, and then we have the rest of the day off. This means we can book gigs in the evenings in the cities that have jazz clubs. But the first few days of this tour, we're just doing the schools, which leaves a lot of free time.
This is the best it ever gets on tour, I think. We can all agree on.
Yeah.
Time for it to go in the sauna, maybe?
Just roll in the snow for a bit.
Roll in the snow, and then into the sauna. Let's go. Oh, Jesus! That was Espen. It's a good day. Everyone's well rested from the spa.
And now we're playing 40 minutes here, and then Tromsø Jazz Club and a masterclass also tomorrow. So tomorrow is when the real fun begins.
I also need to get some practicing in while we're on the road. I try to keep it down when I'm in hotel rooms so I don't bother the other guests. Playing some soft long tones or even stuffing a towel in my saxophone bell to dampen the sound works. I've also figured out a few ways to break the ice with these high school students we're playing for. Some of them have never listened to jazz before, and we try our best to show them that it can be very playful and fun. It always gets some laughs and helps keep them tuned to the music. That being said, it's going to be so much fun to get to the jazz club gigs, playing for an audience that has showed up to hear our music. A theme that keeps coming up on tours with A Tonic For The Troops is AI-generated music. As jazz musicians, we really value the human real-time interaction and creativity that can happen on stage. So whenever we're in a restaurant, it always bothers us when a playlist is some AI-generated slop background jazz.
I've been talking about the music playing in the background because it's AI music, and Magnus Shazammed it and read all the titles.
Back in the day, Little Saint Nick.
AI, Jesus. I think when you're on tour like this, it's really important to have some hobbies or something that you do on the tour. Whether it's you get some work done, or like me, I take some photos, I make this video. It's been my goal for a really long time to take some good photos of the Northern Lights. Well, I got kind of a good picture on the first day, but I would just want to get that a nice time lapse of the Northern Lights dancing in the sky, and maybe some more like spectacular images.
There are some gorgeous northern lights right now. It's a completely clear sky. I can see all the stars. And I think I took a pretty good photo. This was a good night. I'll see you again tomorrow.
Today's a busy day. We're driving first to a school concert in Finnsnes, and then we're driving to Tromsø to do soundcheck for tonight's gig. And then after soundcheck, we have a masterclass with the conservatory in Tromsø, and then finally there's the gig after that.
All right, so we've got about 2 more hours to go. We're stopping here at a gas station just to get some food, some coffee. I got the best tour gadget ever, which is this coffee cup that you can fill up for free at any Circle K station. Well, I paid for it, but it's free coffee for a full year. Chili Klaus. It's pretty good. Now, for the fun part, we're gonna watch Elm try one of these.
Help. Oh.
Can you rate it out of 10?
On what? Taste or strongness?
On taste, yeah.
Maybe 7?
Maybe try another one, because the second
No,
one
no,
tastes
no,
better.
No. Okay. Okay, just for the... Well, maybe it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, that was better.
Or... You can have the rest, actually.
Oh, thanks.
There's a lot of driving on a tour like this, but I really don't mind as there is so much amazing stuff to see along the way. The nature in Northern Norway is quite amazing, with tall mountains rising up from the sea, and also some amazing wildlife.
Okay, we have to do a little reenactment, because I realized I didn't turn on the mic, so it's just quiet. But I was talking to the camera, saying how We came from over on the other side and spent half an hour driving around because of the fjord. And as I was saying that, Espen screams,
Eagle.
"Eagle!"
Yeah.
Because he saw a sea eagle. And we play this game when we're on tour. If you see a horse, you get a point. But there are no horses up here, so we agreed that if anyone sees a sea eagle, you get 100 points. Look at him, he's still smug.
Still excited.
At one point, we also got stopped by the military. They told us to be on the lookout for military vehicles, tanks, and soldiers.
Don't hit a tank.
No.
Wow, some bombed cars.
Troops from 14 allied countries were training under the harsh Arctic conditions in exercise cold response. There are loads of small jazz clubs around the country in Norway. After several school shows with an electric piano and no sound guy, it was really refreshing to finally be in Tromsø Jazz Club.
We basically had a discussion about what kind of undertones you would produce by singing different intervals. So if I play a note on my horn and then I sing the fifth, I get the octave below. So we try to figure out if I play the third above, if that would produce the fifth below. Det som Ellen har gjort veldig lurt da, når hun skriver låter, at hun skriver ikke for stramt. Man har lov til å ta med seg selv inn i musikken.
Hvis du har et riff som sier, ikke sikkert funker, men ta det med på øving. Ja, jeg kan tenke, kanskje trommene skal være litt sånn lett inn i tre, bla bla. Men jeg har jo så klart ikke all den kompetansen som finnes der.
In every concert, there are some musical moments that really stand out. With improvised music, it's like we're discovering it together each night. On one of the songs, Espen does a fantastic piano intro that's different every time, and he's playing these complex, improvised harmonies. On the gig in Tromsø, I really felt like joining in with my soprano. It was a bit scary because you have no idea what chord or melody is going to come next. You just have to trust that your ears will guide you and that together, me and Espen can find a common direction to take the music. Things don't always go according to plan, and funny enough, this happened on Friday the 13th. The day started out great with a phenomenal crowd at the school concert in Tromsø.
Today is going to be fun because we're playing for some music classes as well, and they tend to be good audiences.
This was the final school concert of the tour, and we had to pack up all of the audio gear and hand it back in before flying to Bodø for the next club gig. We were in a bit of a rush, but made it to the airport in time, checked in the bags and headed through security. I was a bit worried about getting my sax on board, as this was a fairly small airplane, and according to my measurements, my Weissman case would just barely fit in the overhead compartment.
So this was the flight I was worried about getting my saxophone on board because I haven't flown with this case on the smaller flights before. Espen can probably tell you the model of the plane we just flew.
It was a Canadian de Havilland -8 Q400.
Airplane nerd. But It worked perfectly. It fit in the overhead compartment. But I messed up on the airport. I have a video light that I bring with me. I put that in my bag. And then I checked in the bag, went through security, realized I had checked in the light that is supposed to go in the hand luggage because of the battery. So I went back out downstairs, asked ground handling people if I could get that out of my bag so they didn't throw it out. They told me no. I asked someone else. They told me no. And I said, is there anyone you can call? Just double check. They did. So I got the video light out and I have it with me. They didn't throw it out, so that was lucky. No cymbals. So I guess we'll have to sort something else out, unless they show up in time for the gig.
I'm speechless.
So without Magnus's cymbals, we headed to get in at Ad Lib Jazz Club in Bodø.
A very nice backstage we got here in Bodø. Food, some chocolate, some fruit, some coffee, chips, beer, wine. Still waiting on those cymbals though. In case you're wondering what we're doing at Soundcheck, usually a lot of Espen just listening for frequencies in the room and telling the sound technician exactly what frequency is singing a bit too much on stage. Is that an apt description?
I bring my own microphone, a Sennheiser 441, but for this gig I decided to go with the RE20 they had on stage. Both mics are great and either would be fine, honestly. Sometimes we have a couple of hours between soundcheck and the gig, and in those cases I'm so glad to have my constant humidity reed case, keeping the reeds moist and ready until the gig.
My beloved cymbals are gonna arrive in the next flight, hopefully, like half an hour before the show. So let's cross our fingers, Magnus.
Yeah, and just hearing you on soundcheck on the house cymbals, I got a new level of respect for your cymbal finding abilities, because there's a massive difference.
It's my identity. Like as a jazz drummer, like the cymbals are like the most important thing. For most part, Sabian cymbals and some Siljan cymbals and then one Bosphorus cymbal.
And one of them is very bendy.
Yeah, one of them is very bendy.
I might have some footage of that if I can dig that up.
It's a flat ride, yeah. Bendy flat ride.
Bodø is a really nice city. I really like being here. It's just something special here in Norway about those kinds of cities. Like if you look off in the distance here, you can see like the really tall mountains just sticking up. And then we're here with like a really tall hotel. So Bodø, really nice city.
It's a very typical Nordic sushi. Definitely not Japanese, but very good. 8 out of 10.
9. 7.5 out of 10.
Nice.
I liked it.
How do you like the cymbals?
The cymbals that are on the drum set now, they suck big time. 0.0000000000001 out of 10. We cross our fingers. My precious cymbal.
Just buy it.
Well-deserved beer.
I hope so. Yes. Yes, I think so.
I think Ellen had a good gig.
Yes. Yes. Nesten.
I think we all can agree we had a pretty good gig. Everyone's quite happy.
Right, so last gig day of the tour, I'm gonna go get some breakfast, then we're taking the train down to Rana. I think we'll have a nice train ride down there. Ellen is a big fan of trains, so she'll have a good time at least.
The bass is in that wagon,
Nice.
the band wagon.
And the cymbals?
And the cymbals, they're also there.
It's pretty much only us on the train, and still we decide to sit together in the group of four. So that says everything about...
We love each other so much.
We love each other so much.
Each other so much.
It says everything about the friendship in this band.
The most important thing about the musicians in your band is not how they play, but how well they work together socially, because you're going to be hanging out a lot. So go on tour with your friends. Very good. I showed Ellen a little jaw stretch exercise that I use for getting rid of the tension in my jaw as I play saxophone. So give it a shot. I'm gonna pull really hard. It's gonna hurt a little bit, but it's really good for your saxophone tone actually. The train ride from Bodø to Mo I Rana is absolutely gorgeous, especially over Saltfjellet, one of Norway's many national parks. As I was filming out the window of the train, I even saw a tiny white rabbit jumping in the snow. We also crossed the polar circle, so I guess technically this isn't the Arctic tour vlog anymore. I got about an hour and a half left before we get out of here. I'm gonna spend that hour and a half preparing for the next part of my program, which is being soloist with a big band in Oslo. So at these school concerts, I've done this little trick where, you know, if they look really bored in the middle of a saxophone solo, I'll go. I did it through the door to see if the other guys could hear it. I get this back. So Espen basically took the time to write it out. All right, back to practice.
Nine. Aye. 8.5.
7.
7.5.
7.
We're playing Hemnesjazz, a remote jazz club, but it's always such a thrill to come here to play. And here we have the best Norwegian candy. Am I right?
Absolutely. 10, 11 out of 10.
Yeah, this one goes
It's the best one.
Excited to go back home and had a great tour. It was so much fun. Shut the f... These guys started out this tour not really wanting to be in the videos, and now they're, as soon as they see a camera, they just come running. This was the 11th gig of the tour, and with so many gigs in a row, something special really starts to happen with the music. So as always after the gigs, Ellen is giving me some constructive criticism, just some things to work on for next time. And what should I work on for next time?
He's my favorite saxophone player, so he doesn't need to... He can play it just as he wants.
Should have played flute.
There's no jobs on flute.
Somebody get that big violin out of here. It's been a pleasure. You're a wonderful guy and a wonderful piano player.
siste bagasje og skal straks være klar.
This is goodbye. Luckily we found out we have a gig in April.
Yeah, we realized on the flight we have a gig in April. So.